Hello, welcome to Behavioral Finance video number 5, and today we are going to discuss an important concept from behavioral finance, that is mental accounting. This concept of mental accounting was established by Richard Thaler, who has published articles on this topic in 1985, 1990 and 1999. He has written a book on this topic in 2015, Misbehaving: The Making of Behavioral Economics. So, mental accounting is a concept in the field of behavioral economics. Mental accounting refers to the different values a person places on the same amount of money based on subjective criteria, often with detrimental results. Actually, mental accounting is an interesting concept. By definition, mental accounting refers to the way people categorize money. According to this concept, people place value based on which category the money falls into. And some categories are more important or significant than other categories, and this sometimes go against logic. Mental accounting refers to the tendency of humans to develop and make decisions based on purely mental categories. Although they seem rational, the categories we create are often wholly arbitrary. What is arbitrary? It means determined by chance or impulse, not by necessity or principle. That is, it's a choice made without any specific criterion. Arbitrary decision would be a decision to do anything just because you feel like it. And sometimes these kind of decisions would be dangerously misleading. If we are not careful, mental accounting can destroy our investment strategies or even our entire financial lives. Mental accounting often leads people to make irrational investment decisions and behave in financially counterproductive or detrimental ways, such as funding a low interest saving account while carrying large credit card balances. Okay, I will give you an example for a better understanding. Suppose you are maintaining a savings account that earns little or no interest. Suppose it is for a special purpose, say a new house, okay? At the same time, you are carrying a substantial credit card debt. Actually, you are experiencing short of money, but you won't use your money in that saving account. This is because the value, the worth, that is the money in that saving account is more valuable to you than the money you uses to pay for debt. That is, you are likely to treat the money in this special fund differently from the money that is being used to pay down the debt. Clear? Actually, diverting the money from the debt repayment process increases interest payment, consequently reducing your total net worth. Credit card debt that accrues double-digit figures annually, right? So, in most of the cases, the interest on this debt will erode any interest you could earn in a savings account. So in this scenario, it would be best to use the funds you have saved in the special account to pay off the expensive debt before it accumulates any further. Actually, diverting the money from the debt repayment process increases interest payment, consequently reducing your total net worth, right? So actually, this credit card debt that accrues double-digit figures annually, right? So most of the cases, the interest on this debt will erode any interest you could earn in a saving account. So in this scenario, it would be best to use the funds you have saved in the special account to pay off the expensive debt before it accumulates any further. So we can say mental accounting is a set of cognitive operations used by individuals and households to organize, to evaluate and keep track of financial activities. This theory is also called two-pocket theory, because we are separating them into different mental accounts based on the source of the money or the intent of the account. Individuals do not consider the money is fungible. Fungibility means the state of being interchangeable, that is mutually interchangeable, that is replaceable by another identified item. Money has fungibility because there is no difference between $1 and another dollar. If you didn't recognize this capability of money, what capability? That is fungibility or interchangeability, or we can say substitutability. It doesn't lead to an optimum investment decision. So in mental accounting, people using subjective criteria for compartmentalizing wealth. which often leads to irrational decisions. Recollect our example. What did I say? A special fund is set aside for a new house, say maybe vacation, say maybe for a trip, while having a huge credit card debt. The money in the special fund is treated differently. That is compartmentalization of wealth. So rather than saving for a vacation or for a new house, it's more logical to use the funds in the fund to pay off the expensive debt. Here, people may feel that money saved for a new house or for their children's education or for constructing a new house is too important to give up. So, this important account should not be touched at all. That's what happening here. Mental accounting according to the source of money. It happens when people tend to spend a lot more found money, such as bonuses and gifts. Found money means it is something extra that people often feel free to spend on a discretionary item. What is discretionary? Discretionary expenses are often defined as non-essential spending, such as recreation and entertainment, etc. That is wants rather than needs. In simple sense, we can say it includes such money spent on luxury items or non-essential goods and services. Some examples for found money are bonuses, gifts, and lottery winnings, etc. So treating money differently because it comes from a different source violates the logical understanding. So these are the mental accounting bias. So in order to overcome this bias, one must understand that money is fungible regardless of its origin or intended use. You can cut down your unnecessary spending of found money by realizing that found money is no different than one's hard-earned money. So you should realize that saving money in a low or no interest account is pointless if you have an outstanding debt carrying a high rate of interest to repay. That's all for this video. The next video we will be discussing anchoring bias, one of the important concepts from behavioral finance. Thank you.